there are people, okay? So this is still something that I'm making decisions about, but I'm not going to be bullied into making a decision. I don't mean to say bully, but I'm not going to let somebody like push me into making a decision that I personally don't fully want to make. I've said this a number of times in the past, and I'll say this again. Some people believe me, some people don't. Maybe you see it more now when it's a little bit obvious. I very much make the decisions about doing what I want to do based on what I want to do. If everybody in my community hates me for it, or if different people think that I should do something different, I'll take people's opinions like into account, but I am not going to I'm not going to change everything that I do to appease anybody. I'm going to do what I feel is best for me to do. Hold on, let me see if I'm going to phrase this correctly. Mike Spam seems like he really wants me to focus on mainstream political topics in a mainstream political way. So, for instance, Mike Spam would want me to, and I don't try to say this like in a derogatory way, but like I think Mike Spam would want me to become like a mini kind of DeFranco person, where I'm kind of doing things where I'm talking about like news events, and we're doing a lot more like prepared content on YouTube where we're just talking to the camera and we're giving opinions on things. This is something that I could do, and I think I could do this a decent amount. Like, I think that I can give my opinion on things, and it's something that I probably will get into in the future. However, so something that I know about myself, okay, is that, and I'll be arrogant here since people are demanding that I change my shit, okay, is that I am capable of confronting people in a manner that nobody else on my side of the political aisle seems to be able to do. Now, maybe that's a little bit arrogant, but I haven't seen people of my size that seem like they're capable of jumping into these conversations and having this back and forth like in a live format in a really intelligent way. I watched Cenk try to do it with Shapiro, and it was pretty sad. And then, some people like the Chapo people will like drag people in. The Michael Brooks and Sargon thing was really good. I really liked that. But for the most part, I don't really see people do what I do. So if I abdicate this position, then everything kind of just goes back to the skeptics, Like, I'm pretty much the only person that is capable of doing what I do in the aggressive way that I do it, and then in kind of like the intelligent way that I do it, right? It's not just screaming at people, but I try to keep things like fact-based. And I try to engage in these conversations. I personally, I think there is great value in this, okay? I personally think there's great value in this. And I think that there are a lot of people that that see these kinds of engagements and then are kind of either put on the fence or hop off the fence and are more likely to come over onto this side versus heading over to the other side because nobody ever like steps in and talks to these people. Okay, I'll read this post. Where do you get this idea that if you just debate alt-righters with epic facts and logic and figures and kindly ask, will you please stop being racist now, that they will stop being racist idiots? It's much easier to hear someone argue that Destiny paints himself as like the savior of internet culture that is changing the landscape from a Nazi parade to a town square in ancient Greece where Aristotle and Plato can intelligently converse in a productive way. He claims that he's changing all of these young racist kids that infest the internet and specifically gaming spheres, but never once stops to think about the possibility that he's exposing closeted racists or even galvanizing them to a movement that seems legitimate because it's in a debate and is surrounded by a current political climate. So as somebody that's 29 years old, and I will say this to Mike Spam and you Fufudere or whatever, you guys are just wrong. You're wrong and you're really fucking stupid. Like, this is the kind of shit that led to Trump being elected. And I know that people use that a lot, but like, if you're somebody that is decently old and has watched mainstream politics for a long time, the liberal perspective has always been presented as the only acceptable perspective in most mainstream media, okay? If you look at all of the entertainment history, Hollywood, music, if you look at all of the what's acceptable in the workplace training, all this shit, what's acceptable as an opinion to have in the mainstream media on news organizations, right? If you're outside of like Fox News or talk radio, that is the only way to go, is to have a left-leaning liberal view. For at least a decade, okay, you have people that are constantly saying the Democrat liberal view is the only one that is acceptable to hold. The Democrat liberal view is the only thing that you can have. Republican views are wrong and stupid, and you should feel ashamed for having them. Racism is bad, stupid. You should feel ashamed for feeling it. Immigrants are great and awesome, right? You have all of this. Liberalism isn't left. Thank you. Okay. You have all of these ideas that you feel like, well, if we just don't engage with them, if we just don't talk to them, if we just ignore them, you know, and even Mike Spam specifically said on White Nervosa stream, he said, we just need to label these people as degenerates. We just need to label these opinions as crazy and not engage with them. How did that work out for Hillary Clinton when she talked about Trump supporters being a basket of deplorables, right? All of a sudden, you know, in 8 years, we went from Obama to everybody scratching their head like, wait, how could there be so many people that would vote for Trump? Because we pretend these people didn't exist for so long that like people are like so surprised. It's like, wait, how are all these people in the US? Because nobody ever engaged with that thought. Nobody ever engaged with that idea. Nobody ever, you know, took any time to tell these people like, hey, this is wrong for this reason. But rather, the default mode of operation has always been to shame them and move on. Tell them they're wrong and stupid and move on. Tell them that they're stupid and ignore them. You know, don't engage with that idea. Don't platform that idea. That's really bad. Well, it didn't seem to do anything.
Christy Winters has a great Sargon debate where he just ends up screaming about MUHSJW. I'd love to see you guys have a conversation.
That's the stupidest fucking thing you've ever said. I'm going to post some giant fucking wall of text on just how wrong you are. Okay, well, that's cool. That's great. I don't really care what you have to say, though. I watched this happen in my country over the past decade, where the idea is that you deplatform right-wingers, you don't talk to them, you don't give any credence to their argument, and now young people are listening to people like Ann Coulter. Now you've got young people who are Destiny, who got the majority of free airtime in the coverage of the election again. Yeah, you foo-foo. The reason why Trump was shown on CNN so much for free is because all the liberals assumed everybody was laughing at him. That's the problem, because you fucking idiots are so out of touch with reality. You have no fucking idea what somebody outside of a major city or metropolitan area even fucking thinks. You cannot conceive that somebody would... I was like this a year ago. I couldn't conceive of it, right? Because I'd been brainwashed the same fucking way. That like, oh yeah, like obviously Trump saying that like all people from Mexico are rapists, like that's so dumb, right? And you watching him on CNN, it's like, oh yeah, well we could put him on CNN and laugh at him, like it's so stupid. This was the assumption in the mainstream liberal media for the entire fucking time, and you're lying to yourself if you think it's not, right? The assumption is that, well, we could put Trump on here a bunch, it's good for ratings, people are like laughing at him and shit because he's so stupid, but people weren't stupid. That wasn't what was happening, right? The thing is that there was this whole underbelly. Not even underbelly. There was this whole split in the United States that watched this and felt like Trump's message was reverberating with them. And so many people on the left had no idea that this was even happening. This idea where it's inconceivable, because that's the story of Trump's election. The story of the election day was, how can so many people vote for this guy? How could he win the nomination? How is it possible that he's president? This is the whole story of the election, right? It's not that Trump isn't a political genius. Trump didn't do anything amazing. Trump wasn't a master rhetorician. I don't know, the rhetorical user. He wasn't like a master conversation navigator or a nimble centipede or anything like that. It's just that Trump exposed that, hey, by the way, half the fucking country believes this shit, and you think that by pushing them under the covers that you can just ignore it and pretend that it never fucking existed.
Thank you for presenting this
fucking
argument.
Stupid. Nah, Destiny, what simply happened is Democrats didn't go out and vote. That's literally it. Republican, Democrat voted Dem. It's not like Trump had any massive, unprecedented wave of support. Bullshit. You're lying to yourself. Come out of your fucking bubble, dude. You're lying to yourself. Are you telling me that you honestly believe that most people would have been in a mind to vote so that Trump could win an election in 2016? You really believe that? I'm pretty sure the voter turnout for Democrats in 2016 was similar to 2004, wasn't it? Or 2000? I mean, yeah, not as many people came out for Clinton as they did for Obama, but that's obvious. Of course that's not going to happen, okay? You're telling me, did Trump win the popular vote? No, he lost by 2 or 3 million, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that how many millions of people, 30, 40, 50 million people, how many people voted that this many tens of millions of people can vote for Trump? Don't look here and say, oh, well, Destiny, Trump didn't even win the popular vote. How many tens of millions of votes did he win, though? You didn't think that was possible. Don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you did, because you're deluding yourself into a world that doesn't exist. Don't sit here and lie to yourself and go like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I always knew that Trump could win the Republican Party. Yeah, of course, you know, bullshit. You didn't fucking know that, because then he wouldn't have gotten so much free airtime. He would have been taken more seriously early on. Democrat opposition research would have been working way fucking harder if people thought that was possible. Yeah, don't sit here and pretend that like, oh yeah, well, we knew that Trump was a serious threat the whole time. No, bullshit. Trump was treated as a fucking joke right up until election day. Like, right up until like election day, people were in disbelief that somebody like Trump could get any kind of support. And that's because of this idea that like, oh, well, I mean, it's so dumb. Like, just look at TV, look at everybody in the media, look at all of Hollywood, look at all of popular media. Like, obviously these views are so wrong and stupid. Right? Of course, nobody actually believes this shit. And then election day rolls around, and it's like, oh, holy shit. What the fuck happened? Right? Now everybody's scrambling, and they're like, oh shit. Like, half the people in this fucking country are okay with the dude saying that Mexicans are rapists and murderers. That's a bumbling fucking idiot. That approves things like stop and frisk and papers, please, like all this racist shit, all this traditionalist shit, like the Planned Parenthood fucking fetus bullshit, like all this crazy shit. I didn't think anybody believed this, but half the country does? What happened? This is why I don't agree with this idea that like, well, just ignore them and shame them and call them deplorables or whatever and don't talk to them. And then, we can pretend they don't exist. Like, good luck, dude. Good luck, because it seems like it fucking failed so far. And you see these like newly rising conservative people like Ben Shapiro. If you would have asked me 10 years ago what the future of media looks like, I would have said it would have been left people arguing left like specific divisions. Like, the arguments that I would have expected to see today, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, people are going to be arguing about like single payer versus government mandated health insurance.
Is a good way to introduce leftist ideas, arguments.
Okay, left ideas to these people's audiences who would probably never see themselves. The only way to get these ideas out there is to bring them to them. The right learned that forever ago. Thanks intensely. And then Stribbit says, a circle jerk debate would ease some of my autism. Listening to skeptics is hard on us all. Yeah, of course. Thanks for the 8 minutes of subbing. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, oh yeah, like young people today would be arguing about like, should we have single payer versus like government mandated insurance? Or we would be arguing about like, do we need like a higher federal minimum wage? Shit like that. I would have never guessed that people like Ben Shapiro or Sargon of Akkad, that these people would be like the large people on like YouTube and social media, the larger growing like younger millennial kind of like entertainers. I would have never fucking conceived that this kind of shit would be possible. I would figure that these people, or that people like Ann Coulter would be picking up a younger audience of people. That when you go to subreddits like the Donald, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have assumed, oh, the Donald, this is going to be a subreddit that's probably for like 50 and olders. Like, look at how often did we laugh about like the Fox News like average age group or whatever. It's like fucking hold on. It's insanely, the median age of the average primetime Fox News viewer is 68 years old. Okay, like if you would have talked to me about these things, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is just old people. Like they'll die out. We don't, fuck all that shit or whatever. But like you see, these movements are like picking up like a decent amount of popularity in young people. People that shitpost on the Donald aren't fucking old people. People that are shitposting on Poll and whatnot aren't only young people. I don't know. Just things to think about. Younger people are overwhelmingly liberal. Yeah, probably. I think they still are. But like, there's this like growing movement of righties and I don't see anybody like having anything to say against them, and I don't like that. First question comes from the Second Core, and his question is: co-optional podcast. How close are you to Total Biscuit personally? As in, can you just casually ask him if he wants you on the podcast? In his recent Q&A, he said that he's fine with people asking to come on the show because it feels like you're kind of distant from him lately. In regards to the last part of that question, I guess I'm kind of distant from him. I just haven't really done anything with StarCraft or Blizzard or anything, so I haven't really had a reason to be close to him. So I guess, we just haven't done anything. For the big part of the question, podcasts are, I don't know. It's kind of something that I've always been torn on. I like the idea of doing a podcast. I actually really like the idea of doing a podcast. I think I've always wanted to get into something, but I've always wanted to get into something a little bit away from just strictly gaming, talking about games or whatever. I'm really interested in American politics, a little bit of international politics for the little bit that I know. Anything having to do with science or philosophy. I don't know anything about philosophy, but discussing it is really interesting. And talking to people that know a lot about it is really interesting. Just non-gaming topics I have a really big draw to in terms of my interests. I feel like if I were to set up a podcast, I feel like it would have something to do with non-gaming stuff. I'm still not entirely sure. The podcast thing has always just been kind of floating out there, and I haven't really done much with it. But I mean, Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it would be a lot of work to set it up and to get the right guest. I don't know. One day, so soon, TM, in Blizzard time, I'm sure I'll get that podcast set up. In terms of jumping onto a podcast with somebody like Total Biscuit or JP or whatever, which I know is kind of more of what's being asked. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a pretentious dick or whatever, but like I feel like when I talk to people, I don't like to talk to people that I agree with. It's just not entertaining to me. Like when I draw people onto my stream to argue with them, like, debate me or whatever, the reason why I like arguing is because I feel like those conversations are worth a lot. It's more interesting to see another person's point of view, and I feel like it's more fruitful to a listener, although this is just secondary, because whatever. It's more interesting to hear two people disagree with each other and then hear them attempt to reconcile those differences. Like, that's interesting conversation to me. I really don't like jumping onto a podcast where everybody kind of has the same opinions and ideas, and you go from one topic to the next, you're like, yeah, this thing sucks, and everybody's like, yeah, this thing sucks. And you're like, well, this thing rocks. And he's like, yeah, this thing rocks. It's like, oh, okay. But it seems like if you disagree with people like really hardcore in a podcast, well, then everybody hates you and then you kind of aren't invited back. I guess I'm kind of making that up a little bit. I haven't necessarily seen that happen firsthand, but I haven't really seen. But the reason why I believe that might be the way it is because I haven't really seen very many podcasts where all of the people talking are disagreeing with each other, like vehemently, like, and really arguing out two completely separate points. It's just not something that I see very often. And I would be scared to step into a show. I would be really afraid to step into a show like that and then start offering contrary opinions, and then everybody hates me because they think I'm just, trying to argue with someone or be a contrarian or, be a huge dick or why is Destiny so nitpicky? Game of Thrones is awesome, show like that, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll, reach my feelers out and put that in the water. Maybe I'll send a tweet out today or tomorrow or something and see if Total Biscuit is looking for a guest, and I can always try it a couple times or try it once and I'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's kind of just where I stand on the whole podcast thing, at the moment. When I'm dealing with people online, it's not exclusive to me. This is really, this fits with everybody. For me to engage somebody online in an argument is like, this is like the very rare trifecta this is like a quadfecta, okay? Like some situations, ideally most situations in life are like win-lose, right? You make the right choice and you win, you make the wrong choice and you lose. Sometimes you get a win-win, which is where no matter what you do, right? You're a winner, which is awesome. Sometimes in life, if you have to choose between, like, say your wife is going to die if she gives birth and you have to, like, either kill your baby or kill your wife, you could view that maybe as a lose-lose, right? Or any internet person, is in the very rare state of where every single online interaction is a lose-lose-lose-lose. So this is kind of annoying, okay? Here, just to like walk you through, some of you might think I'm crying or whining or whatever. I don't think I am. It really doesn't bother me that much, even though I rage about it sometimes. Well, some things bother me, but I'll talk about it. So if I'm online and I go to engage somebody who's talking shit, right? So it's super fucked, okay? First of all, I always have a running track record. So every single time I'm wrong, it's recorded. Versus an anonymous person who can always delete an account and start over every time. Which is we're already off to kind of a bad start, right? So if I engage 400 people and I quote unquote pwn 800 of them in an argument, but I'm wrong like 4 times, then I'm like, fucked. I have a track record, right? And it sucks and it can always be brought back up and like shit like that, right? This sounds really stupid, okay? I know it does. So that's already kind of annoying, right? So anytime I go to engage somebody online, let's say somebody logs in to my subreddit and they make a post like, oh, like you're such a sellout piece of shit, homosexual hating person, blah, blah, blah. Like I could engage them and then say I'm right and then they delete their account and it's like whatever. Or I get dragged down in an argument. Like it's literally like a lose, 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 lose. Like there's no possible way to come out ahead of that. So if somebody's posting a whole bunch of shit online, you can ignore it In which case, sometimes it looks bad. Like if a lot of people are making posts, like in that StarCraft Reddit thread where everybody's saying, like, oh, the only reason he doesn't do a show with Richard Lewis is because he's unprofessional and lazy and shit. If you don't respond to any of that at all, it kind of looks like you're just being dodgy about public opinion, like Artosis, you know, like I think somebody in that thread actually made a comparison between me and Artosis. Oh, you thought that you could just not say anything and it would just go away like Artosis's website, didn't you? Like, well, no, not really, right? So like if you don't engage anybody at all, you come out the loser. If you engage people and you start arguing with trolls, like you come out a loser. If you engage somebody and you win the argument and then they say they were baiting, you come out a loser. Like, so there's no way to ever win when you're in my position against an argument online, right? Let's say that Lizward, we'll use him as an example, right, is making 500 posts a day in my subreddit, right? And in every post, Lizard says the G-spot isn't real, right? So if I never, ever, ever respond and more people start posting agreeing with him, they're like, wow, Destiny won't even fucking say anything to him. Like, obviously he's a fucking piece of shit. He's just going to remove the post, right? It's like, okay, so fuck. So now what? I look like I can't handle the argument, so I'm just done. Or let's say that I respond to him and it's like, dude, like blah, blah, blah. And then Lizard starts linking like these random articles like, well, look, the G-spot isn't found, so you're wrong. It's like, okay, well now I engaged a troll and I fucking lost in an argument and now I look even worse. Or let's say that I start arguing. It's like, well, look at this, blah, blah, blah. And then I win the argument. Well, at that point, okay, we'll say they just delete the account. I mean, what did they lose? Nothing. And I just wasted time arguing with them. Or they can just go, haha, can't believe you fell for the bait, dumbass. And it's like, what? So then it's like, okay, well, fuck. So there's absolutely no way, to engage somebody on the internet that's like talking shit. Like I can't do it. There's literally no successful way to do it aside from like requiring you guys to register to my subreddit, like using social security numbers, right? If you do that, then I can actually start to engage you guys, because then I can keep track of you motherfuckers, right? So the I can give when I do talks like this, I should like start recording examples, but I mean, like I guess I can give you. Hold on. Don't run and like upvote or downvote this shit. Like I said, it doesn't really bother me, but yeah, so like this is a good one. So like something like this, in before Destiny deletes because it's true. So like normally, like it's like such a cock block, right? This is like a blocking bet in poker. When somebody leads into you and you think that you have the best hand, but now you can't bet because they bet first, like, well, fuck, right? So like, and then this guy responds, truth, this will get deleted in a few hours. Not even Destiny's automated downvote bots could save him this time. Even a small subreddit will lose his 40 downvotes because when the content is this accurate, blah, blah, blah. Former Destiny fan. I don't even know if this guy's being sarcastic or not. I'm not sure. So what, if I delete the video, does that mean that I'm just dodging? I'm deleting it because I don't want to argue about it? But then if I come in here and I start arguing, and then people bring up like, well, look at this Destiny, and then they bring up like a thread from like 9 months ago that I deleted because it was like Tiger Lily's a whore and Destiny is fucking blue tea 24/7 now and abandoning his child. You deleted this thread. So then I argued and now I look like I'm wrong because somebody linked 2 threads that I deleted before that were trolls, or now I have to go and defend those decisions too. So I was like, hey, fuck there. Or I post and then like what you guys are saying now, and then you guys are like, oh, Destiny, you got baited. Destiny, are you fucking retarded? How can you believe that anything he's saying is true? You got baited. And it's like, okay, so there's absolutely no way. And I actually thought about this. Like I thought about this a lot last night. I'm trying to think, like, is there any possible way to actually like engage somebody here and come out on top? And I really don't think that in my position, I don't think that there is. So like I just respond LOL, and of course this guy rages, upvotes on the autistic lol reply only because it's senpai. And then there's like actually people like coming in here and like upvoting, downvoting shit who are like mad as fuck. Wow, Destiny, nice cherry picking. I don't even know if I can talk to that guy because I don't know. Mod abuse, got permabanned for literally no reason. My name is Win Manager in chat, and I was just joking around. I think the worst thing I said was literally, Destiny, you're bad, after he missed a shot, and then I got fucking permabanned. Seriously? This is this guy's chat log. Destiny. I'm watching you. I think it's really sad how Destiny is spitting on the competitive integrity of Counter-Strike by streaming and demonstratively trolling and being a troller. How am I Silver Elite? I'm much better than this noob. I always get noob teams, even in League. Absolutely reprehensible and disappointing play from Destiny. Shoot for the head, idiot. Destiny, you have to shoot them in the head. What the fuck? It's so obvious. This is an easy puzzle. Destiny, a really bad streamer at Raffle. Destiny, you're mediocre at CSGO. And then I finally banned him on the last one. Hey, Destiny, LOL, you're bad. Holy shit! Not being able to comprehend that someone might have a different opinion outside of the Destiny GG echo chamber. When your opinion is G-spots don't exist, I don't understand, like, I don't know. But regardless, I got downvoted to fucking shit when I came in here. And then this guy, oh, the IOPQ guy, I'm probably going to ban him. I don't know why I haven't already. He pretty much just sits in chat and will troll the fuck out of me. The only reason why I haven't banned IOPQ is because he actually, IOPQ is like, he's like a more edgy version of Pwid. Like the Pwid diddly guy in my chat will usually like call me out for kind of dumb reasons sometimes, but for the most part, he seems pretty smart. I'm pretty sure the IOPQ guy is pretty smart because I've seen him chat a lot, but there's a lot of times where he's like only talking in chat to like try to like fucking get my goat. I can't actually tell. I've thought about like lifting the ban list and starting to get like way more fucking hardcore on like not trolling, but like baiting. So like it'll be something where like I'm gonna start to take every single opinion in chat at face value and I'll ban for like really fucking retarded shit. And if you were just baiting at the end, then you can pay the money to like subscribe to lift the ban. But I don't think that that's where this was heading. That's like where this was leading. I don't think that I don't think that I'm not gonna keep having people baiting in chat because it's like ruining I can't interact with my chat anymore. I don't know if like TeamSpeak, I don't spend enough time in the TeamSpeak, but like it sounds like TeamSpeak is full of like a bunch of people that are literally just sitting in there like trying to bait and shit. How is that fair at all? I mean, it's not fair, and I'm sorry, but like it's gotten to the point to where like I'm not just gonna have like somebody says something retarded in chat. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that's totally wrong. And then they're just like, I'm baited. Like every fucking time I say something to chat, like it's gotten to be like too much, right? It used to be funny when it was like, or at least to me, I say, maybe it's always funny to people doing it, but like it used to be where like somebody is like in chat and they'll say something like, Destiny, why aren't you getting an i7 on your gaming rig? And it's like, okay, obviously he's baiting now, right? But when it gets to the point to where every single time I say something, like people are typing shit and then somebody says something like, Destiny, you fucking retarded, like ISIS is not really even as bad as Saddam. And I'm like, and then I say something like, I thought like, I know like Saddam like gassed the Kurds and that was kind of bad, but like ISIS seems like they're willing to go farther. And they're like, oh, I baited you, dumbass. It's like, what? Like when literally every single opinion, like it's gotten like way too much. Like it's not like I can't assess the, if I can't assess, like, I actually know a lot of you guys in chat. Like I really do. I know a lot of you guys in chat. I think I surprise some people sometimes when they, when people start typing in chat like, Destiny, do you know me? Like usually for almost every single person in chat, I can usually know like what you're talking about, right? Like Spiders94 shit posts quite a bit. I think he was a really big Dota fan, I think. Like Human Killer X, like I recognize the name. Bluey too, I know that he chats a lot. Stupid Monkey, I know that he baits about a lot of stupid shit. Like usually on the chat, usually I can see names and I typically know like what to expect. Like the Dota 2 guy actually likes Dota a lot. He's a little bit of a Dota shit poster. Thane shit posts a ton, so I almost ignore almost everything that he says. I know that VNet really wants me to play The Witcher 2. I know that he's been talking a lot. Lol Poppins, I expect to see a lot. Azure Wind, I know you personally from the Eve shit, like Bombgen, obviously I know fucking Bombgen almost personally at this point. Like usually when I see names, Darkon, usually I know that when you're chatting, you're not just talking random fucking shit. Bisco fan, I know you are not just talking random shit. Usually I can pick out people. Like I know what to expect when I see people typing. But it's gotten to the point where like almost every single time somebody talks, like now I don't know if it's just gonna be like, oh, I was just baiting. Like, so then it gets to like, it's like this really uncomfortable game where we're playing whack-a-mole, right? That's it. That's what chat is starting to feel like to me, right? We're like, okay, well, like now we're playing whack-a-mole. Okay. So this guy says, hey, did you know that, Did you know that humans aren't actually even evolved to be physical at all anymore? It's all their brain, right? No, fuck you. Whack-a-mole, you're retarded. And then I was just baiting. Okay. Did you know that, like, the United States' healthcare is actually really good? I don't know why you circle jerk Europe's all the time. Like, theirs is actually, like, really bad. I mean, actually, I don't think that's true at all. Whack-a-mole. I was just baiting. It's like, okay. And then I hit, like, the one person in chat who's like, Destiny, genetics aren't everything. Like, epigenetics might actually play like, a really big role in your fucking child and shit. It's like, really? I don't think that's true. I thought it was all genetics. Wrong! Here's 50 million articles, dumbass. You were so fucking stupid, Destiny. How? And it's like, oh, fuck. Well, now the one guy that I tried to call out was actually right. And now I get fucked, right? And every single time I'm right on something, oh, it was just a bait. Oh, it was just a bait. Oh, and then you hit like the one guy and it's like, nope, you're wrong. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, it sounds really, really, really dumb. I know this sounds really fucking stupid to you, but for me, like, it's really, really hard for me to try to engage the chat anymore because I feel like every single fucking time I do it, I feel like if I'm right in the argument, Destiny, you're getting baited. I was just baiting. I was only pretending to be retarded. And then like the one time I'm wrong, like chat fucking rides my ass on it. And it's like, oh, well, fuck, I guess I was wrong. But then I look like a fucking retard because the only time I'm right is when I'm arguing like a baiter, you know? Destiny, by this analogy, aren't you at fault for trying to hit the mole in the first place? Well, yeah, but like I said, it seems like I can't just ignore it. Like, it's too much when everybody's saying something or everybody's talking shit. Also, I enjoy part of the reasons why my stream ever became so successful, and it is something I still enjoy, I like engaging the chat. Like, that's something where I do enjoy engaging the chat, and I like talking to everybody in chat. I like that I know, I'm pretty sure more than any other streamer on the internet, like, I know, like, all of my fucking, all of the people in chat. I know almost all of you that chat regularly. Like, I know what to expect. I know that Tals Darcy is probably banned for doing some fucking retarded emote spam, and I see his alternate account. Like, I know Apple is the accountant. Like, I know, like, almost all of you guys that chat a lot. And I like that, and I like that I can like assess you, and I know how to respond to you, and I know like if somebody says something dumb, does this guy need to be banned, or does he just always say dumb shit? Like, I enjoy that part, and I don't want to go to never ever talking to chat because that's not as enjoyable for me. I don't know if I would actually stream if I could never I don't know if I could ever stream if I wasn't able to interact with the chat anymore. So off the obviously Final Fantasy 92, off the back of like all of that, what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to lift most of the bans that I've done over the past couple of weeks, but I'm probably going to start taking almost everybody's opinion is going to be taken at face value. And if you say baited, or if you think that you're baiting, or it looks like it, I'm just going to start banning people. Kang19 says, how do you feel about what you've settled in as a streamer over the past couple of years? It seems that ever since StarCraft became dead game and you got fed up with League, your viewer count has pretty much stayed at 1,700 to 2,200 mark, regardless of what game you're playing, whereas you could pull upwards of 3,000 or more consistently in the past. Of course, it's great that you have your core fan base of about 1,500 viewers that will watch whatever you do, but how do you see yourself bringing in more consistent viewers, or are you happy with where you're at? Where I'm at right now is pretty stable. It's sustainable for my life right now. You know, I can pay for my houses, I guess, and I can take care of Nathan, and I've got enough money to do, I can travel or whatever, and I've got, money to spend for fun. So I'm happy-ish, I guess, with 1,500 viewers, but I mean, being the kind of person I am, I would like to grow more. I'm kind of hoping that Overwatch is the game that I can sit in for a long time and get a ton of viewers in. That's kind of like the goal, the dream, is that if I can get to like 1%, the 99th percentile on the ladder, and then just stream that game for a long time, I hope to be able to pick up fans playing that game. That would be kind of like the dream. I've already sat in the StarCraft realm and picked up as many consistent fans as I can from there, so then the goal is to just transition to another realm where I can sit and do the same thing. There are also other ways to acquire fans as well that I haven't really explored as much. I'm kind of pushing the YouTube a little bit, and I have gotten some new fans from YouTube, believe it or not. I could also push in the in the podcast direction a little bit more. I could push in the blogging direction a little bit more. For podcast stuff, maybe politics or whatever, although I don't know if those people would watch me play video games. And then in the blogging direction, things like computer hardware and stuff is still stuff that I can, talk about with reasonable confidence. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we continue to do okay. I know that things have kind of been flatlining over the past, few months, but and then holding the constant schedule, someday the dream. Hopefully we continue to work on that as well. So yeah, I hope that with the Overwatch stuff is kind of like my next big dream, that hopefully that is something that pans out to be pretty good in the future. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed. Look, shaved my neck, beard, and everything today for you guys. Oh,